Black woman helps a helpless stranger, not knowing he was a Korean mafia boss. Rain in Seoul doesn't feel like weather. It feels like pressure, like the city is trying to erase you. That night, Zara almost didn't stop. A man in a wheelchair sat in the middle of the storm, soaked, still, completely unmoving. People passed him like he didn't exist. Some dropped coins. Some laughed. Most didn't even look. But Zara noticed something no one else did. He hadn't moved for hours. Not once. And something about that wasn't normal. Because the man sitting in that chair wasn't helpless. He was watching, and she was never supposed to notice him. Seoul is a city that doesn't slow down. 11 million people moving at once, fast, loud, indifferent. Rain hitting the pavement, neon bleeding into the streets, and no one looking long enough to see what's right in front of them. Not the storm, not each other, and definitely not the man sitting under a broken awning in Yeonam-dong, black suit, perfectly tailored, completely soaked. A cardboard sign hanging from his neck. I can't walk. People passed him constantly. Some dropped money without stopping. Some avoided him completely. One person laughed. No one stayed. Because in a city like this, if something doesn't make sense, it's easier to ignore it than to understand it. But Zara didn't ignore things, and that was the difference. If you already feel like something about this situation isn't right, you're not wrong, and it only gets more complicated from here. So if you enjoy stories like this, make sure you like the video and subscribe, because what Zara just stepped into is a lot bigger than it looks. Seoul doesn't notice you. Not the office workers rushing past Hyundai Station holding laptops over their heads to shield them from the rain. Not the vendors slamming shutters closed. Not the delivery drivers cutting through red lights. Not the couples arguing under dim awnings. Not the teenagers filming themselves in neon-lit streets. The city moves fast, loud, indifferent. And it doesn't slow down for anyone. It didn't slow down for him. He sat alone beneath a broken awning on the edge of Yeonam-dong. Black suit, perfectly tailored, completely soaked. His hands rested flat on the armrests of his wheelchair, head slightly bowed, eyes closed. Rain slid down his jaw, dripping steadily onto the pavement below. A cardboard sign hung around his neck. 3 words. I can't walk. People passed. A woman dropped a bill without stopping. A man glanced once, then crossed the street. 2 teenagers recorded him, laughed, and kept moving. A store clerk stepped outside, looked, then went back in. No one stayed. This was 11:47 p.m. Zara had passed this exact corner at 3:43 p.m. 31. Born in Ghana. 4 years in Seoul. Night shift data compliance analyst at a fintech company no one talked about unless they had to. She walked everywhere, not for exercise, because she didn't like feeling trapped. Too many people. Too little control. Zara noticed things, patterns, details, things other people filtered out without thinking. She had seen him earlier. Same suit, same posture, same stillness. At the time, she assumed he was waiting for someone. Now she knew he wasn't. The rain had gotten heavier. The broken awning leaked steadily onto his shoulder. His suit was completely drenched. The cardboard sign had started to fall apart, and he still hadn't moved. Not once. Zara walked past him. 1 step. 2. 3. She stopped. Something didn't fit. It wasn't sympathy. She didn't operate on that. It was recognition. A man with hands like that didn't beg. A suit like that didn't belong here. And no one sat completely still for 7 hours in the cold without reacting. That kind of stillness wasn't weakness. It was control. She turned back, walked straight toward him. No hesitation. No visible emotion. She stepped in front of him, tilted her umbrella to cover them both, and said, "You've been here for hours." Not a question. A statement. His eyes opened. Dark, focused. alert in a way that didn't match his body. He looked at her, not surprised, not confused, measuring. "You counted," he said. His voice was low, controlled, too controlled. Zara didn't answer. She just watched him, waited. Then she sat down beside him, calm, unbothered. Crossed her ankles, pulled out her phone, as if she were waiting for a bus. As if nothing about this was unusual. She didn't look at him again. She didn't need to. She had already noticed something else. A black SUV parked down the street, about 40 meters away. Engine running. Lights off. The same one she had seen twice earlier that night. Different locations, same plates, same presence. The headlights flicked on, brief, then off again. Zara's eyes stayed on her phone. Her posture relaxed, her breathing steady, but her mind adjusted instantly. Someone is watching him. Then something colder settled in, and now I'm part of it. Beside her, his fingers moved. Just slightly, a small controlled reaction, but enough. She left at 12:31 a.m. No explanation. She came back the next night, 11:52 p.m. This time, she brought nothing. No food, no coffee, no quiet gestures disguised as kindness. She walked to the same spot, sat on the ledge, crossed her ankles, and opened a notebook. Slim, black, worn at the edges. A gift from her mother the day she left Accra. Always have somewhere to put your thoughts. Zara had always found that harder than it sounded. She opened it. Blank page, pen ready. She stared at it, then wrote nothing. Beside her, he didn't move, not even slightly. On the third night, she brought something different. A small Bluetooth speaker. She placed it between them, pressed play. Music slipped into the rain. Low, soft, barely noticeable. The kind of sound that didn't ask for attention, just filled space. He didn't react, not visibly. But across the street, inside one of the black SUVs, a guard with a scar through his eyebrow shifted in his seat. "She brought music," he said quietly. The older man beside him didn't answer, but his eyes stayed on her. The fourth night, Zara finally wrote something. 3 words. She looked at them for a long moment, like she was deciding whether they belonged outside her head. Then she tore the page out, folded it once, then again, slipped it into her pocket. She kept it. That was the night he spoke. "Why do you keep coming back?" His voice was the same. Low. Controlled. But closer now, less distant than before. Zara didn't answer immediately. She let the silence sit between them. Long enough to mean something. Then, habit. "You don't look like someone who runs on habit." Zara almost smiled. "Almost. I simplify things," she said. Then she turned, looked at him fully for the first time. "I don't like things that don't make sense." "And you don't." Something shifted behind his eyes. Not emotion, not quite. Recognition. "My name is Ryu Junho." Zara didn't react. The name meant nothing to her, and that told her something important. She wasn't part of the world where it mattered. "Zara," she said, then looked back down at her notebook. What she didn't say, what she had no intention of saying, was that she had already tried to find him. 2 nights earlier, she had run his face through a system she wasn't supposed to have access to anymore, an old tool from her previous job, corporate intelligence, Lagos. The result? Not incomplete data, not restricted files, nothing. And that was wrong. Because in her line of work, silence had structure. Normal silence felt empty. This didn't. This felt designed. Renewed. Erased on purpose. She closed the notebook slowly. She knew what kind of man required that level of invisibility. She came back anyway, not because she trusted him, Not because she didn't understand the risk, because unanswered questions bothered her more than danger. On the fifth night, she sat closer. Not enough for anyone else to notice, just a few inches. But he noticed. She saw it, in the slight delay before his next breath. She didn't react, just stored it away. "Careful," he said quietly. That was new. Zara didn't look at him. "About what?" Another pause. Longer this time. Like he was deciding how much to say. "About where you choose to sit." That landed. Zara's grip tightened slightly around her pen, barely noticeable. "I chose it," she said. That night ended like the others. She stood, closed her notebook, and left without another word. He stayed exactly where he was. Across the street, the SUVs didn't move. Inside the first vehicle, the guard with the scar pressed a hand to his earpiece. She moved closer, he said, then more carefully. And he warned her. Then a voice came through, calm, certain. "I know." She found the first thread on a Tuesday, by accident, the way the important things usually start. She was running a routine compliance audit on a logistics subcontractor, Kyongsu Transport, when something small caught her attention. The company's registered address was shared. 4 different entities, same building, same floor, shell structure, common, unremarkable. She flagged it, moved on. But 2 nights later, sitting beside Ryu Junho, listening to quiet music under the rain, it came back. 4 entities, 1 address. That kind of pattern didn't disappear. It waited. She pulled it up again. This time, she followed it. Chansu Transport led to a parent company, Baekwa Capital, that led to a director, a nominee. Normal. But deeper in the filings, something didn't fit. A name, buried in an old amendment, easy to miss, easy to ignore. A trust. Yansu Real Estate Partners. Just for a second. Then she closed the app, put her phone away, and said nothing. Because now she understood something simple. This wasn't a mistake. This was structure. The 6th night, she brought a thermos, barley tea, still warm. She placed it beside him, didn't offer it, didn't acknowledge it, just left it there. He didn't touch it. But she noticed something else. The tension in his arms, subtle, controlled, but there. He felt it, he just refused to show it. Zara didn't react, but she adjusted her understanding. He wasn't passive, he was choosing stillness. That was different. That was dangerous. She searched for him again that night. Different system. More secure. More dangerous. An old network from her Lagos days, built for cross-referencing financial records across jurisdictions. The kind of system you don't use, unless you're ready for what it gives you back. She ran his face. The result? Nothing. Again. But this time, the system responded. Access. Attempted. Clearance level insufficient. Classification priority 1. Zara went still. That wasn't corporate. That was government. Which meant one thing. Someone powerful had decided this man either needed protection or needed to disappear completely. She didn't mention it. Didn't even hint at it. Because information only has value if no one knows you have it. Beside her, he was watching. Not directly. His eyes were still closed. But something had changed. She could feel it. She wasn't just an anomaly anymore. She was a variable he hadn't accounted for. Good. You move differently than you did the first night. Zara didn't look at him. You've been watching me. Yes. Since when? Another pause. Shorter this time. Before you sat down. That landed harder than she expected. He had seen her hesitate. Seen the moment she almost walked away. Seen the decision. Sarah's grip tightened slightly around the thermos. What did you decide? She asked. About what? About me. This time, he didn't answer immediately. Zara counted it, without thinking. 1, 2, 3, 7 seconds. That you were the most interesting mistake I've encountered in a long time. That was new? Zara turned her head slightly. Not fully. Just enough to register the difference. Mistake, she repeated. Junho didn't correct himself, and that told her everything. Neither of them spoke again that night. Across the street, inside the first SUV, the guard with the scar leaned toward his partner. Chairman reacted again. The older man didn't respond immediately. How many times? Every night she's come. Silence settled inside the vehicle. They showed up on the 8th night. 3 of them. Zara noticed them before they crossed the street. Mid-20s. Expensive clothes worn the wrong way. Too deliberate. The kind of money that needed to be seen. Their walk gave them away. Loose. Wide. Performative. Men who believed the space around them belonged to them. She didn't look up from her notebook. They saw her first. Measured her. Categorized her. Dismissed her. Then they saw him, and slowed down. Something about him changed the calculation. Not curiosity, opportunity. The tallest one said something under his breath. The others laughed. He stepped closer, looked down at Junho, then at Zara. Your friend? He asked in Korean. No answer. He switched to rough English. You know him? No. That made them smile. The second one shorter, heavier, a streak of bleached hair, crouched in front of the wheelchair, waved a hand in front of Junho's face. Hey, you awake? Nothing. He grinned, looked back at his friends. The tall one nudged Junho's foot with his shoe. Dead weight. Zara's thermos sat beside her, stainless steel, still warm. The stocky one picked it up, turned it slowly in his hand, looked at her. Yours? Set it down? He tilted it. Tea spilled across the ledge. Slow, deliberate. He didn't look at the tea. He looked at her, waiting. Zara stood. No rush, no hesitation, just stood. Something in her posture shifted. Not defensive, not aggressive. Decided. Pick it up. They laughed. The tall one stepped closer. Too close. He knew it. Zara didn't step back, but her mind moved. Distance. Angles. If he reached, where to hit first. Then, Junho spoke. Leave. One word. Everything broke. Not gradually, not subtly. Instantly, because a man who hadn't moved for days was suddenly not a man they understood anymore. The air changed. The tall one blinked. Just once. Then, headlights. One SUV, then another. Then a third, pulling forward from a blind spot they hadn't noticed. Engines running, doors still closed, but now visible, watching. 12 silhouettes behind glass. Still, that was enough. The tall one stepped back, just half a step, but it mattered. His shoulders lowered, his stance adjusted, his confidence recalculated. Let's go, he muttered. They left. Fast. But not running. Zara didn't move. She watched them disappear, counted the seconds, waited for them to come back. They didn't. Only then, she sat down again. Her hand hovered over the thermos, just for a moment, then she picked it up, set it upright, watched the last drops fall to the pavement. Her breathing stayed steady, but not as steady as before. Then quietly, "You're not paralyzed." Junho didn't answer immediately. For the first time, he hesitated. No. Zara nodded once. Small. Precise. Since when? 11 days. That landed differently. Zara looked at him, really looked this time. 11 days in the rain. 11 days without moving. 11 days of being invisible. To everyone. Except her. Her jaw tightened slightly, barely noticeable. "They've been here every night," she said. Junho didn't deny it. "Yes, watching you, watching everything." Zara turned toward him, held his gaze. "Including me." Junho didn't look away. Yes, that should have changed something, but it didn't. Zara held his gaze for a second longer, then broke it. "Okay." That was all she said. No anger. No questions. No reaction he could measure. And for the first time, that uncertainty stayed with him. Zara picked up her notebook, her speaker, and walked away. Across the street, inside the first SUV, the guard with the scar was already speaking into his phone. Chairman spoke. 11 days, and he spoke. Yes. He glanced toward Zara disappearing into the street. To her. "Then I understand. I'll send the report." She came back the next night, sat down like she always did. No introduction, no hesitation. "You've been running a test, long enough to confirm it." "Several," he said. Zara looked down at her hands. Not reacting, processing. 11 days in the rain, no movement, no identity, no digital trace. That wasn't random, that was design. Including one on me. Yes. What were you testing for? Junho didn't answer immediately. He never did. Silence was an absence to him. It was control. "Whether people help out of obligation," he said finally, "or something else. And what is the something else?" Another pause. Measured. "I don't have a word for it yet." Zara let that sit. Turned it over. "Did I pass?" Something shifted. Small, but real. "You weren't supposed to figure it out." That almost made her smile. "All? You think I figured it out because I passed," she said, "or because I was already looking beneath the surface?" His fingers moved slightly against the armrest. "Both. That makes it more inconvenient." That was new. Zara noticed it, stored it. "I've been running tests too." That got his attention. Not obvious, but real. "On me?" he asked. Yes, she turned slightly toward him. Not fully, just enough. On whether a man who chooses to look helpless is actually broken, and... Zara met his eyes, watching. Another pause. "Which means you're not broken, which means you're dangerous." The words stayed there, between them. "So why are you still here?" he asked. Zara looked at him fully now. "Because I work in data," she said. And a man with no footprint across multiple systems, sitting in the rain for 11 days, with 12 armed men watching him, she held his gaze. That's not ordinary danger. That's something I haven't seen before. Silence stretched, and I haven't decided what to do with it yet. For a moment, it felt like the balance shifted. Then Junho stood. No warning. No build-up. He just stood. The wheelchair disappeared as a concept. Not broken, not relevant, just gone. Now there was nothing separating him from the world. No disguise, no frame, just presence. Heavy. Controlled. Deliberate. Zara stood too. Same level. Same ground. Neither stepped back. Rain filled the silence between them. "The question isn't whether you're dangerous," she said. "I knew that early." She held his eyes. The question is, why are you still here? Something tightened in his expression. Brief. Controlled. Because no one had ever asked him that. Not directly. Not without fear. Not like this. For the first time, he didn't have an immediate answer. He looked at her, longer than before, not measuring, trying to understand. Then he turned. Walked toward the first SUV. The door opened before he reached it. He got in. Engine shifted. All three vehicles moved at once. Gone. Just like that. Zara stood in the rain, the space where the wheelchair had been, empty. She looked at it. Longer than she expected. Then reached into her jacket. Felt the folded piece of paper. 3 words. Still there. Her grip tightened slightly around it. She didn't take it out. Not yet. She exhaled slowly, then turned and walked home. 3 weeks passed. They settled into something neither of them named. Not because they didn't notice it, but because naming it would make it real. And neither of them worked that way. He wasn't always at the corner anymore. Sometimes he was there. Sometimes he wasn't. Present like a shadow. Connected, but never fixed. They walked sometimes. Short distances, never far. They talked. Small things, large things, careful with both. She told him about Legos, not the parts that stayed with her, just the work. How systems reveal themselves if you know how to read them. How financial behavior never lies. He listened, fully, without interruption, without pretending. He told her almost nothing. She noticed that too. Thursday night, 11:43 p.m. Zara was at home. 3 compliance files open, a cup of coffee beside her. Cold. Forgotten. Then her front door opened. No knock. No sound. No warning. It just opened. Zara froze for half a second, then moved. By the time the first man stepped inside, she was already behind the door. The lamp came down hard, ceramic against bone, a sharp crack. He dropped, didn't get back up. The second man came in fast, lower, prepared. He grabbed her from behind, tight. Zara reacted on instinct. Her teeth sank into his hand. Hard, he shouted. His grip loosened, just enough. She twisted. Elbow drove into his chest. He folded. Air gone. She didn't stop. She grabbed his phone, stepped back, created distance. Both men were down. Her breathing spiked, sharp, uneven. She forced it down. 1 inhale. 2. Control returned. The phone was locked, but the screen was enough. Recent call. 1 name. Director Shin. Zara's expression didn't change, but something colder settled underneath. She knew that name, not from her current job. From him. She had been building a profile. Quietly. Cross-referencing patterns. Director Shin. Second in command. Which meant this wasn't random. The door opened again. Zara turned faster this time. Jun-ho stepped in. Fast. Precise. Controlled. He took in everything instantly. 2 men down. Zara standing, lamp in hand, phone she shouldn't have. Their eyes met. And something shifted. Not power. Not control. Recognition. She held up the phone. Turned the screen toward him. He read the name. Once. Then again. A flicker crossed his face. Gone almost immediately. They're yours. Not a question, a statement. He didn't deny it. Zara tilted her head slightly, studying him now. You have a succession problem. His gaze shifted, just slightly, to the man on the floor. "Do I?" he asked. Zara didn't look away. "He used a secured entry point," she said. "Override access. A very small list of people could do that. One of them did? That's your problem." She set the lamp down. "And no," she added, "it doesn't make you weak." Junho's eyes returned to her. "But it means someone believes you are." "That's worse." Silence settled into the room. Heavy Junho moved. He crouched beside one of the men, checked the damage. Not concerned. Just confirming. Then he stood. "You should have left," he said. Zara let out a quiet breath. Not quite a laugh. "You never told me to." "I implied it." That almost made her smile. "I don't work with implications. That hit differently." Junho held her gaze a second longer than usual. Then turned. "Prepare to move," he said. The man on the floor groaned faintly. Junho didn't look at him. "Clean this," he added into his earpiece. Footsteps approached from the hallway. Zara stepped back to her desk, sat down, picked up her coffee. Took a sip. Cold. Her screen was still open. 3 files, one of them a company name she had been avoiding. For 3 days. Her eyes lingered on it. Longer than they should have. Then she closed it. Not because she wasn't going to investigate. Because she hadn't decided yet what she would do with the answer. She opened the file 4 days later. Sunday. She had made jollof rice the way her mother used to. Too much tomato. Not enough patience. It sat beside her desk. Untouched. Going cold. She didn't notice. Her attention was elsewhere. She was following something not new, but unresolved. A thread she had been circling for weeks. Hayam Partners. Her employer. Mid-tier fintech. Clean surface. Unremarkable structure. The kind of company that looks ordinary because it was designed to. She opened the ownership records. Hayam Partners Ilshin Capital. Ilshin Capital. Nominee Director. Ilshin Capital. Donggong Asset Trust. Donggong Asset Trust. Donggong Asset Trust Mall Firm in Busan. Zara's eyes slowed. That firm. She had seen it before. She kept going. Donggong Asset Trust, Yeonsu Real Estate Partners. She stopped. Completely. That name again. 3 weeks ago. Logistics audit. Same endpoint. Same silence at the top. Priority 1. Zara leaned back slowly. Something in her chest tightened. Not fear. Recognition. She had been here before. Just not like this. She looked back at the screen. And for the first time, she didn't see separate systems. She saw structure. One structure. His. She exhaled. Slow. Measured. She had been working inside Ryu Junho's system for 2 years, without knowing it. And he had been operating above her work, without ever knowing she existed. The thought stayed there, uncomfortable. Because it meant something simple. They hadn't just met by accident, they had been moving toward each other long before the street. Zara looked at her old reports, every audit, every compliance flag. Every anomaly she had filed, thinking it was routine. None of it had been routine. It had all been part of something larger, something deliberate. She opened a new document. She had been building something for 6 weeks. Quietly. Carefully. Privately. Not a report. A map. 3 logistics channels. 2 real estate layers. 1 financial flow crossing 6 jurisdictions. All legal. All precise. All designed to survive scrutiny. Zara stared at it. If she submitted this, it wouldn't destroy him. But it would hurt. Freeze assets. Trigger investigations. Force restructuring. Cost him time. Control. Leverage. 18 months of disruption. Minimum. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She didn't press anything. Instead, she printed it. Folded it once. Slid it into her jacket pocket. Beside her notebook. Beside the 3 words she still hadn't given him. She stood and made a decision. Delay. No questions. Zara made tea, placed 2 cups on the table, sat across from him. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then, I've been inside your system for 2 years. Yunho didn't move. Zara watched him carefully. Hyam Partners, she continued. 4 layers through Ilshin Capital and Donggong Asset Trust. You didn't know I worked there. No. I didn't know whose structure I was auditing. No. That part landed clean, too clean. Zara reached into her jacket, took out the folded report, placed it on the table, not pushing it forward, not pulling it back, just placing it there, between them. Junho looked at it, then at her. You could have filed this weeks ago, he said. I know. Before you met me. Yes. And now? He asked. Zara wrapped both hands around her cup. For the first time, her grip wasn't entirely steady. Now I know who it belongs to, and I still haven't filed it. Junho watched her. More closely now. Why? Zara held his gaze. Longer than before. I don't act without understanding. A breath. I needed to know who you are. She leaned forward slightly. Not what you built, not what you control. Who you are. Zara didn't look away. The man who sat in the rain for 11 days to see if anyone would stop. That man. Something shifted, not power, not calculation. Something heavier. Junho moved, slowly, deliberately. He reached across the table and placed his hand over hers. Not control, not possession, a question. Zara didn't pull away, but she didn't fully relax either. For the first time, neither of them had full control of the moment. Ow! When did this become acceptable? Shin asked. That wasn't just a question, it was a challenge. The room waited for Junho to respond, to correct, to reassert control. He didn't. He stayed still. That was new, and it made things worse. Zara moved, slowly, deliberately. She placed a folder on the table, flat, centered, between Shin and Junho. That changed the room again. I built that, she said. Her voice was calm. Too calm. 6 weeks. From inside Hyam Partners. Shin didn't touch it. Not yet. It tracks your logistics channels, Zara continued. Financial flows across 6 jurisdictions. Ownership structures down to protected trusts. I haven't filed it. I haven't shared it. Another pause. It exists only here. Islands deepened. One of the men shifted in his chair. Another glanced at Shin. The balance was moving. You're saying you have leverage, Shin said. Zara shook her head. No. Immediate. That would require intent. She took a step forward. Small, but deliberate. If I wanted leverage, she said quietly, you wouldn't be hearing about this. That landed, harder than before. This isn't a weapon, she added. It's a demonstration. She looked around the room, not avoiding anyone, measuring them. He didn't find someone who sympathized. He didn't find someone he could control. Her gaze returned to Shin. He found someone who had the data and chose not to use it, because this was never about your system. Another step, It was about him. The room didn't move, but something inside it did. That isn't weakness, Zara said. Quiet, controlled. It's the most controlled decision in this room. Her eyes shifted to Junho, and none of you saw it. That was the first real break, not loud, but undeniable. Shin's expression tightened. Just slightly. 20 years of control challenged. In seconds. He reached for the folder, paused, then opened it. His eyes moved. Fast. Precise. He understood immediately. That was the problem. He closed it, looked at her. What do you want? Not calm anymore? Careful. Zara didn't hesitate. Nothing. That made him pause. She took the folder back, slid it into her jacket. I'm keeping it, because it's accurate. Another. And because I built it. And because you should know it exists. That last part stayed in the room, heavy. Junho hadn't spoken once. He didn't need to. Because everyone in that room understood something at the same time. This wasn't control. This wasn't defense. This wasn't leverage. This was alignment. Unplanned. Uncontrolled. And now, impossible to ignore. Director Shin resigned 11 days later. Quietly. Officially. Health reasons. No one questioned it. No one needed to. The system adjusted. And moved on. Junho told Zara over the phone. Brief. Factual. No emotion. She said okay, and went back to her file. The next morning, she submitted a routine audit report to Haim Partners. Clean. Precise. No mention of the structure. No mention of the trust. No mention of priority 1, filed like everything else, as if nothing had changed. 2 weeks later, Junho came to her apartment. Not the corner, the door. She noticed that immediately. She let him in. Made tea, sat at her desk. He stayed near the window. Chin is gone, he said. I know. You told me. The council stabilized. Expected. Silence followed. Not uncomfortable. Just unfinished. Yunho looked out at the city. I've been thinking about the rain, he said. Zara didn't respond. She waited. I stopped being able to read people. 11 years of building something large enough. That truth stopped mattering. He exhaled slowly. I needed to see what people are when nothing is at stake. Zara leaned back slightly. And? Junho turned toward her. Most people become what the city allows them to be. Not spoken, but felt. You didn't. Zara closed her pen, turned fully toward him. I didn't come back because I cared, she said. Not kindness. Not curiosity. You didn't fit. And I couldn't ignore it. Yunho nodded once. I know. Zara held his gaze. That's not romantic. No, he said. Just accurate. A moment passed. And that's rarer. Silence again. You knew about Haim Partners, she said. Not a question. Yunho nodded. Not you. Not specifically. But the structure, yes. I knew someone inside it would eventually intersect with me. I just didn't know how, until the report. Zara studied him. And what did it mean? Junho crossed the room. Slow. Measured, reached into his jacket, and pulled out a folded piece of paper. Her handwriting. 3 words. I see you. Zara didn't move. The night your apartment was entered, he said. It fell from your pocket. She looked at it, then at him. You kept it. 3 weeks. Why? Junho's answer came slower this time. You weren't ready to give it. And I wasn't ready to return it. Zara exhaled. Something about that landed deeper than she expected. She reached into her pocket, pulled out the compliance report. Still folded, still untouched. She placed it on the desk. then took the paper from him, unfolded it. Read it again, her own words. But heavier now, because now they meant something. She reached for his jacket, black suit, perfectly tailored, still warm, and placed it over her shoulders. Not imitation, not surrender, choice. A decision made with full understanding. Zara looked at him. Still doesn't add up. Junho met her gaze. No. It doesn't. And neither of them tried to fix it. Because some things aren't meant to be solved. Only understood. Outside, the rain started again. The same city, the same noise, the same indifference. 11 million people moving forward, not noticing that somewhere inside it, 2 people had stopped walking past each other. If you made it all the way to the end, you already know this wasn't a simple story. So I want to ask you something, and I actually want your honest answer. If you saw him that first night, would you have stopped, or would you have walked past like everyone else? Tell me in the comments. I read them. And if you enjoy stories like this, slow, layered, and a little different, like the video and subscribe, because the next one won't go the way you expect either.